High vibrations, sweet babies. It's your friend Hannah here, aka Bunny, as I'm known on the internet spaces. I'm a professional model. I am a empowerment through expression and self actualization coach, if you will. I do lots of those types of things over in my other parts of the internet. I like to hang out in the woo spaces and pull oracle cards for you here. I'm working on an app called the Icon Suite where it's kind of a blend of all of the worlds. I'm hoping to have more to share with you soon, probably around late fall in the winter time, which is my solar return. So it's going to be a very special coming to life for that project. But yeah, as of right now, you can get all of the readings right here on the YouTube channel, where I've been sharing readings now for about 2 years. And it's not like a huge space. It's a very intimate, cozy corner. And I love to pull cards for my collective. I'm actually going to be pulling a personal reading for a dear friend of mine very soon after this. And I'm really hoping that my readings bring some insight, some guidance, some clarity, or in the very least, inspiration. We had some really yummy readings for the end of July as we went through that full moon, which was really showing us what we needed to let go of. Behaviors, habits, connections, jobs, ideas, whatever it was. It's probably different for you depending on kind of what was going on with your birth chart and where the planets were moving through. And we're also going through a Saturn, I'm sorry. We're also going through Jupiter's really fun transits right now, which is exciting for myself because I'm a Sagittarius. But we're not going to go down into like the whole astrological rabbit hole, if you will, because we're going to be talking about the Lion's Gate today. So I already put out a Lion's Gate reading, and that's actually going up today. When I'm recording this, this will be going up for the Lion's Gate and just sort of what we're going to be walking through this portal and sort of receiving on the other side. So that last reading, I highly, highly recommend. If you have not listened to it already, I would say still go listen to it, learn how you can work with this portal, because it is one of the probably like biggest portals that we're going to be able to receive, okay? Because it's 888, 2026, right? So it's a really powerful portal. Sorry, I was like looking out the window. Anyway, we've got a very powerful portal coming up here for us, and it is going to be, yeah, see, I knew there was like some kind of message coming from out this window over here. Some birds cawing. The last reading I did, there was like a really interesting bird sound out there, and I would love to know what kind of bird that was if somebody like listens to it and knows. But anyway, this is a really powerful portal. It's all about infinite potential, and I'm really kind of perplexed by the fact that I am going back to the same city that I had work in last year during the 8-8 portal, and I did my whole ritual in the hotel room. I did a reading there. It was crazy. It was powerful. It was transformative. And when I tell you that I had no idea how powerful that really was going to be for me then, oh my gosh, which is like why I'm really super stoked about this one, because I believe in what happens when you are intentional with your energy, when you decide to really harness what's possible with your energy, and when you tap into the vibrational coding of numbers, right? My boyfriend likes to say numbers don't lie. So, that's exactly what this portal is and what all the portals are. And I really find so much healing and shifts and just empowerment by working with the portals, which is why I like to pull cards for us and guide us collectively through them. Last year, oh my gosh, I was like, I knew what I needed to let go of. I knew what I needed to release. I knew what I wanted to call in for myself. I knew where I was at and what I was like feeling into and what was aligning. And it was like, honestly, pretty emotional. I was like really crying a lot, purging a lot. I was like crying with another person, and we were both like releasing these things together, and like super, super powerful. And I know within my heart and my soul that what I was doing with my energy through that portal set me up for everything that I was trying to call in. And I have spent the last year with those things, learning how to have those things and be with those things, right? Because it's an interesting idea, but I feel like it's wanting to come through, because I was reading this book called The Life That's Waiting for You. It's a super short audiobook. You can listen to it. And I'm not gonna lie, it's like not my favorite book, but there was a couple of messages that I really enjoyed from the reading. And the one was, there's too many people practicing the art of wanting and not enough people practicing the art of having, which is this whole idea that like we as a society are like all about, I want this, I want to have this, I want this, and knowing what you want for yourself. Since we're children, we know what we want, right? And we grow up knowing what we're wanting, and it helps us strive for more, and that's great. It's good to know what you want. But we are, as a society, not practicing the art of having, of being able to be with, to appreciate, to accept, and to receive what you have. And because of this, we as a society are fundamentally much less happy than we could be, because we're spending so much time wanting and not enough time having. And the author goes on to say that it's decreasing our ability to make the best out of what we're given or what we have. And with this, we're always feeling like we're lacking, we're always feeling stressed, we're always feeling like we're wanting more. Which is an interesting thought, and maybe that's applicable as you walk through this 8-8 portal. Maybe it's not all about like the a million things that you want, because you're always going to want more. There's always going to be something for you to expand into and want to attain, to achieve, to have, whatever. But that's the point. What do you already have that you were once wanting? And maybe it's helpful to look back at your last 8-8 portal, even if you weren't consciously, intentionally using it or moving through it to manifest, to call in, to feel empowered or whatever. Just look at it on a calendar and be like, what was I doing? Where was I? What was I wanting for myself? Where was I like trying to go? What were the things that I was doing? What was I struggling with? And really look at where you're at now. What do you have now that version of you that walked through that last 8-8 portal, right? August 8th, last year, 2025. What do you have now that you didn't have then? What are you not having? What are you not appreciating? What are you not being with? What are you not fully taking stock of and realizing that you have X times more than you did last year? Because when we don't take that moment to sit with that and to appreciate what we have right in front of us or within us or whatever, that's when we start to lose happiness. That's when we start to lose joy. That's when we start to lose purpose, and we become this wanting, consuming black hole that's never satiated and never satisfied. And that, I think, is really important for us collective. This isn't to say that you can't use this beautiful 8-8 energy to manifest and call in, because I certainly know what I and trying to manifest very soon. But I think the real underlying premise and importance of 8-8 is to understand your ability to do it. You can manifest, you can call things in, but the 8-8 portal is about being with your true power, your infinite potential, tapping in to your literal power. You're a force of nature. You were placed on this earth for a reason, all right? And it's not to be like a cocky, like egotistical, you're God's gift to earth, but also like you're a child of the universe and you were put here in this time and space for a reason. The time that you were born, the stars, the planets were all there in their particular order to make you who you are. You were a part of this, no less than the trees and the stars. You are nature. You are here. You are a part of it. And there is a really huge power in that, in recognizing that, in seeing that, and in being with that, right? And that's part of what my whole spiel here is about, is like, what are you not having? You're not having the awareness. Maybe you are, but this portal is about having the awareness that you are powerful. You're unstoppable. And maybe this isn't for you to go, full throttle, trailblazing, batten down the hatches type energy. But maybe it's for you to understand that whatever is hindering you, whatever feels like a challenge, whatever something that you are struggling with since the last 8-8 portal, or whatever, it may have been years, a lifetime, whatever. This 8-8 portal is about recognizing your ability to your infinite potential. It's your infinite potential. Your potentiality is limitless. What you can conceptualize for yourself is just, scratching the surface. And each 8-8 portal, we get the ability to sit down and to be with that and to see how we can expand that, or how we have expanded that, right? And I think really at the core of it, it's all about this idea of having. A while ago, I was a part of this amazing community, and we were all about manifesting and being high vibrational and calling in the life of your dreams and all that kind of stuff. And we had these buddies, like manifestation buddies, that we would do like these little practices with. And me and my buddy would send audio recordings to each other every day, talking about what we were manifesting for the day and calling in for the day. And after, I want to say, like a while, we got tired. It became tiring to do that. Why? Because we were constantly practicing the art of wanting and not enough having. We were always in the place of what we wanted more of, what we were trying to achieve, what we're trying to call in. And eventually that puts you in a place of feeling lack thereof. It's the perspective of what's missing, of what you don't have, of what you still have to do. And I was starting to understand for myself that it was more of like a spiritual hygienic thing to not call in and to just be content and to be with what I have and to embrace what was in front of me and to just work with the way that the day unfolded. Obviously, that means to bring good energy, to be intentional, to think good thoughts and all that kind of stuff. But instead of this constant, I want this, I need to do this, I need to have this, I need to go here, I need to be, it was a spiritual, mental, physical, hygienic practice for myself to say, I need to stop wanting for a while and just be with what I have, what I am, where I'm at. And there's a lot more power in that than you would think. Actually, I might argue that it is actually the most powerful place and state that you can manifest from. And just like most energetic practices, sometimes it feels counterintuitive. But let me explain. When we are in a place of having instead of wanting, and we are with what we have and we are completely present with it, fully present, fully embracing it, because we realize that at one point we were without it, that at one point that is what we were wanting. And we were getting ourselves off this hamster wheel of endless, almost like a hamster hell, right? This hamster wheel of endless wanting, of endless like, wanting the thing, getting the thing, wanting the thing, getting the thing, wanting the thing, getting the thing. And it just never ends because you're never taking a moment to hop off the wheel and be with what you have, to be with what you've received, with what you've called in, with what you wanted with all of your might, to actually be present with it. And when we're in that place of fully embracing it, of recognizing the value in that because we didn't have it at one point or we wanted it so bad and it came into our life, maybe we didn't even ask for it, but it's here. And how beautiful is that, and how wonderful it is, and what it does for your life, and fully being so mindful and present with what you already have cultivates this deep feeling of gratitude. And gratitude is one of the highest vibrational emotions that we can experience as people. When we want to manifest or call in anything, we're trying to get in that same vibrational frequency that our manifestation, our goal, our dream, our vision lives at. How do you do that? By raising your frequency. You don't manifest as much when you're existing in low vibrational frequencies. When you're complaining, when you're stressed, when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're depleted, you're still going to call things in. Gravity doesn't turn off just because you're not paying attention to it. Same thing with the law of vibration, law of attraction, right? You are still going to be calling things in at that frequency. But when you are consciously manifesting things, you're trying to consciously raise your vibration by existing in the type of energy, which is a vibration, right? That same thing exists at. So if you want better, more joyful, more wonderful, ecstatic things for yourself, you're going to have to bring yourself there to match it so you can call it in. So in a sense, you can get more by wanting less. By really being so grateful and appreciative of what you have, you will end up attracting much more beautiful things. And it sounds simplistic, it sounds silly, right? Like, well, just, when you want less, you'll get more. It's like, oh, when you're just grateful and appreciative, better things happen. But like, there's a depth to that. And there's a real mindful presence that we're able to drop into when we really sit with that understanding and really unpack what that means. When you can really experience true gratitude, you're not searching, you're not looking, you're not constantly like a little, like, I'm just picturing like this creature with tentacles and suction cups, like trying to stick and grab and pull in. And it's like this gluttonous, greedy thing that's like trying to call in, consume all the time. That's how it felt, where I was so exhausted, where I was trying to just be fully aware of like, I don't want to want all the time. I want to be appreciative of what I have. And this is in the minute, this is in the little things, and it's in the very big things, in the important things. How wonderful it is to have a job, even if you want a new one. How wonderful it is to have the job, to have the paycheck. How wonderful it is to have a car, even if it's an older one, because Some people are walking or taking the bus, and that is not what you want for yourself. And here you are having the thing that you want. Are you appreciative of it? Or are you constantly thinking about the hot new car that or the dream car that you wish that you could have, right? This could be about literally everything. Get into the attitude of gratitude. And I promise you, this 8-8 portal is going to rock your fucking world with how much really exists there. And for me, it's easier to stay in that attitude of gratitude when I'm really putting that to practice day in, day out, every second of every day. And you'll realize that it is a power because it's not easy. The most beautiful, empowering things are on the other side of fear, the other side of what's comfortable, the comfort zone. It's not an easy practice, right? Because we have developed this practice of wanting, of noticing what's missing, what's lacking, what you're wanting more of, what's not enough. And as exhausting as that is, it's comfortable. It's what we've grown accustomed to. It's easy. It's a muscle we've built. And now we need to build the muscle or strengthen the muscle if it's something you're already doing under this 8-8 portal to really see how much power you have in your life. And you might want less because you're so grateful for what you have. It's like this beautiful, like all around win-win. When you actually start to appreciate the things that you have in your life, you don't need anything else. It's not, and you recognize that a lot of the things you were wanting were not needs. They were just wants. They were often fleeting. They were often not even things you thought you wanted for yourself, but felt like you needed to want those things for status or to keep up with the Joneses or to impress or whatever it is. And in reality, you have what you need. You love what you have, right? And it makes it such a much more enjoyable, happy, sweet life when you realize that you have what you need. So fully allow yourself to need what you have. That's making the best out of what you're already working with. And it puts you in this, it strengthens that muscle for gratitude. It literally cultivates more joy. And I remember when I was struggling with depression many, many years ago, coming out of that depression was literally such a rude awakening of realizing, there was many things going on and I had many reasons to be sad. I had on paper, like, yeah, it makes sense that you're depressed. Doctors were not shocked at all. But the rude awakening for myself, and this might be hard for some people to hear, just try to bear with me, was that I was just struggling to appreciate what I had. All I could focus on, it was like this laser blindered focus on the problems, the way things weren't good, the yucky feelings. It was like, if I felt a little bit sad, that's where my whole focus went to. And everything else that was working out in my life or good or the things that I had, just my sadness superseded it. And developing a gratitude practice was very, very, I would say, essential for coming out of that mindset. Because like I said, it was just a routine. It was something that was easy. It was what I knew. So looking at life like that, having that mindset was something I had to shift and work out of. And that was not easy. Not because it was something horrible, right? Because obviously having a positive mindset, appreciating what you have and being grateful and being present and all of those things are wonderful, right? But it's just because it was not my immediate mode, not my immediate way of functioning for that whole period. that it was hard. It was hard to be happy. Interesting, right? It was hard to feel grateful. It was difficult to feel purpose and joy. Yet those are all the things that we are supposedly wanting, and wanting through objects, through status, through followers, through money, through whatever it is. Meanwhile, we can have those things, right? We keep getting more of those things by wanting, wanting, wanting. And yet the want just continues to grow. Well, you got the money, but now you want more of it. Well, you got the status, but now there's somebody who has, something that you don't have. Therefore, they're on a taller pedestal and you need to climb up that. There's always going to be something more, which is great, right? Because it makes this whole life thing fun and expanding. But at the end of the day, it can also be this thief of our joy, a thief of purpose, thief of what is truly empowering. And what is truly empowering is being happy with who you are, with what you have, with where you're at, and what you're doing. Right here, right now, in this moment, right here. Because it's only here that we exist. In this present moment, it's the only thing we have. You can be grateful for what you've gone through, right? That's a little easier sometimes, right? Because it doesn't put you in the present moment with where you're at currently. For a lot of people, that's difficult. This is something that I have experience with as a practice, but it's something I really feel called to as I'm talking about all of this to plunge into even more. And I hope that you'll do it along with me, because truly the potential, the unlimited potential that you have to feel joy, to feel purpose, to feel bliss, to feel connection, to feel love for yourself, for your life, for the people around you, it can expand, and you can go deep into that with what I'm talking about, with the act of having, with the act of being present with and embracing and loving where you're at and what you've got. When you're constantly needing more, you're putting yourself in the hamster wheel of unhappiness. Take a break from the wheel. Slow your roll. Be present, be mindful, because that is where your unlimited potential is. That is when your blessings start to fall into your lap, quite literally. They will show up out of the woodwork. They will show up tenfold by just embracing and loving what you have. It's not complacency, right? It's not just putting on the rose-colored glasses and telling yourself this is fine when you have, things that are clearly needing your attention, needing your TLC. That's not what this is. This is about having. This is about realizing what you do have. Amongst a shit show, you may have a support system of people who love and care for you and who are telling you, this is not good and you need to change this, and I really worry for you. And why is having going to bring you any sort of gratitude or, goodness out of that situation? Because you recognize that somebody cared enough to say something, to step in, to love you and want the best for you, who is there and vocal and not just letting you fall into a pit of your despair and saying nothing, right? No matter where you're at, there is something that you can allow yourself to have. And I'm not diminishing what you're going through. I'm not diminishing the hard times. I'm not diminishing your problems. It's about maximizing and expanding what you do have so that you can feel joy, so that you can feel good about your life, so that you can feel relaxed and at peace. And wouldn't you know it, I bet my bottom dollar that whatever it is that you are feeling like you're lacking will probably start showing up. Where attention flows, energy goes. If you're focusing on what you don't have constantly, right? Because the brain does not understand negatives. When you're saying, oh, I need, here, let's see, what's a good example? Sorry, headphone users. What's a good example? Oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like that. I don't want this in my life. I don't. I don't have enough. I don't this. I need, I need more. When you're thinking about negatives, your brain is just thinking about what it is that it's perceiving what you don't have. It's perceiving a heightened attention to the thing you don't want or the thing you don't like. And what do us manifestors know about this is that your attention is what creates emotions, and whatever that emotion is what starts to expand in your life. That's what vibration starts to be called in and what you start to manifest. So if you're constantly giving attention to the things that you don't want, the things that you're lacking, the things that you want, you're likely putting yourself further away than if you were to focus on the things that you do have, that you love, that you appreciate, that you value. Maybe you need to turn up the value knob on all the things that you have in your life right now, because not only does this make you the kind of person that like I would love to hang out with, but truly it's like who wants to be around somebody who's constantly just diminishing the value of what they have in their life? Because we always have something that someone else would love to have. We all do. Every single one of us has something where we're like, oh, that would be nice, right? And to see other people diminishing that value or putting it down or not appreciating it, it's like, ugh, wow. You don't appreciate what you have. It's just like this negative energy, but that's what you're doing to yourself vibrationally, whether you know it or not. But it's going to also just turn up the value knob so that you can really see the value of your life, the value of all the things around you. And when you're like, wow, my life is valuable, guess what you're calling in more of? Because that's what your attention's on. That's where your focus is. Your mind doesn't have to weave through all of the negative thoughts. It just thinks my life is valuable. And your subconscious mind is wired and made to operate in the way that it brings you towards what you believe. So if you believe my life is valuable, the relationships I have are valuable, the job that I do is valuable, that's what your subconscious mind, that belief, is going to call in more of. It's going to literally make decisions that support that belief because your brain likes to be right. Who doesn't love to be right? You know what I mean? So let's put ourselves in that belief of our life being valuable, the things that we have, having, the act of having, with this attitude of gratitude, with being grateful, with being appreciative, with being present with what we have in our life. And I'm telling you, my friends 111, as I'm doing this reading, I mean this with my whole heart. I'm saying this with my whole chest. This is where your Lionsgate power lives. And when you walk through this 8-8 portal, having this sort of awareness, working with this knowledge, you are going to do some fucking incredible things. I can't wait to check back in with you next Lionsgate and be like, ooh, honey, what did we do? What did we do last Lionsgate? And where are we at now? Oh my gosh, have you been having your life? Ooh, I will have that. Yes. All right, let's pull a few cards. Enlightenment here. Lotus flower, right? And what is energy? Boom. Right there. Lotus flower is able to blossom in the mud. Personal power. I knew that card was going to come out. Crown. This is literally just like affirmation, confirmation central. The lotus can bloom from the mud, which means it can bloom in the harshest conditions and make something beautiful out of it, right? So even if you're not right now in this attitude of gratitude, where you want to look around and be like, I love this. You have the ability, hello, just got really close to the mic there, to bloom in even that space. And it might feel counterintuitive, but you have to do it through appreciating and loving what you have, because gratitude is the vibration. It is the vehicle to call in everything you want. And here's the best part, is that it's going to call in things of this really divine vibration, which means it's going to call in things that are meant for your soul, meant for you on a very deep spiritual level, not just surface level gross things that push you in a place of like, okay, well now I want this. Oh, I got this, but now I need the upgrade, Not that. That isn't it. Okay, and so this is going to be I think you're going to be surprised at how transformative this practice is going to be for you. It's going to make you feel powerful. It's like, for some of you, it might go against everything you've ever known or ever thought. You thought to feel more powerful, you needed to have the best of the best. You could not sit or relax until you had like the newest upgraded version of all the things. You could not feel like, I'm seeing like royalty, or feeling like this energy of like you wouldn't feel like that unless you were checked all the boxes, had all the things, and until then, like, it's your job to just want all the time. But you're going to be really shocked at how that changes and how that transforms for yourself when you start bringing in this really high, beautiful, divine, loving energy of gratitude and appreciation for what you have, what's in front of you, what's endured. What are some things that have endured with you throughout your circumstances? If you have things that you want to change, that's fine. But see what's grown with you, what's changed with you along the way, what's worked. Take a moment to appreciate that. You change a lot throughout your life. Things change, circumstances change, people change, all kinds of things change. What's still stayed there with you? And appreciate that. There's a lot of transformation that I see showing up for you when you really practice this. Especially through the 8/8 portal. If you can only take one singular day for an attitude of gratitude, honey, where you are focused on what you have, appreciating what you have, appreciating what's in front of you, being so like, be over the top with it, okay? Lionsgate 888, be over the top with it. It just like, oh my God, this lunch that I'm having is like, it just bursting with flavor, and I am so lucky that I get to put this food in my mouth. I'm a little hungry. It's lunchtime, friends, so this is the example we're going with. For one day, make it 8/8 that you practice extravagant, over-the-top gratitude for the life that you live. And see, obviously, if you could do this practice like for many days, that would be ideal. But if it's only 8/8 that you do it, watch how things change. Watch how much better you feel. Watch how your circumstances change. Watch how you change. You're going to feel like something clicked. You're going to feel like there was it's going to enlighten you. It's going to enlighten your soul. Not in just like a spiritual guru type of way, but it is going to enlighten you. You will no longer feel this heaviness, this burden of what happens when you're constantly wanting more. You're going to realize that you have the ability to enjoy a very rich, succulent life, and it's going to bring this sense of resilience because you're no longer worried about what you don't have. What the hell are you waiting for? Get that shit done. For those of you who are new here, I have the Rebel deck, which has a potty mouth just like I do. If you are waiting for a sign, well, here it fucking is. This is it, my friends. This is where your power lies. This is where your power is asking to come through. Gratitude. Gratitude. I wouldn't be surprised if you have angels, ancestors, and guides that are just like, honey, we have done a lot here for you, okay? And now we need you to just take a second and appreciate it because you've got a lot going for you. You've got so much going for you. So if there are things that you really want to change in your life, right? There's my stomach growling because I told you I'm hungry. Ask a fucking expert is what the cards say. Don't rely on your friends or the internet. Ask a professional. So it's be appreciative of everything that you have and stop trying to just want your way out of things. Stop trying to buy your way into a new position. Stop trying to, there's another card here, don't force it. Stop trying to pretend like you are going to just all of a sudden have and acquire all the tools that you need. If you need help, ask for help, and then appreciate the fact that you can literally go and ask for new things, that you can ask for opinions, that you can ask for help, that there are people who dedicated their lives to learning something so that they can help you. Ask for what you need in order to actually change. And in the meantime, embrace everything that you have. Embrace who you are. Embrace that you really, it's this acceptance. It's not just accepting things into your life, like receiving a birthday gift, but it's accepting where you're at, accepting who you are. And if you're noticing things that are keeping you from being able to be fully present, fully grateful, fully embracing and appreciative with what you have, oh, goodness gracious, I'm going to wrap this up here soon so I can go eat because that is probably not pleasant to listen to. Ask for help. There's a reason for that. Something showing up that's keeping you from being fully in love and grateful in your life. Ask for help, okay? Get the fuck out of your head, right? Get into your heart. It misses you. That's where your gratitude lives, honey. Right there in that heart space. And if you are struggling to get out of your head and into your heart and be fully present, fully grateful, and loving what you have, ask for help. Get out of your head, and this will lighten your load. This is a practice that should make you feel good. It should not be hard. It might be tricky. It might be new. It might be a new thing. You got to be in that beginner's mindset sometimes. But loving what you have, being appreciative of what you have, really, just being so just enjoying the succulence of your life, that should not be something that makes you feel badly. It can only bring you into a delicious, loving space. So it says here, literally, love, give some, get some. It will cheer your ass up, okay? And allow that shit to come to you. Don't force what's possible into your life. Just allow it to come to you by being the kind of conduit, by being this kind of just being in this receptivity mode of when things come to you, you love them. When things come to you, you embrace them. You are with it. You have it. You are all about it. That's where possibility lies for you. That's where this portal is going to truly work its magic, okay? And let's see. Let's pull one more card. Drop the fucking ego. Vulnerability is hot as fuck, okay? So whatever you are trying to force, whether it's this feeling of personal power, this feeling of status, feeling of, I don't know, being on top or being the best, or I don't know, whatever it is that's like you're wanting. Get to the root of that. Understand where that shows up. Is it maybe a defense mechanism? Are you trying to protect yourself by wanting? Maybe it's time for you to just drop the fucking ego and get vulnerable as fuck about why you feel like you always need to want your way out of something. Why can't you be grateful? Why can't you appreciate? And this isn't like to shit on you or anything. Like, why can't you just be grateful? But like, ask yourself, when this starts showing up where you put yourself in this wanting mode, what are you trying to protect yourself from? Are you trying to protect yourself from a belief that you're not good enough? Are you trying to protect yourself from the idea that you still have so much to do or to grow? Are you trying to protect yourself from the idea of maybe, I don't know. This is your question to answer. But here's the thing is when you really just get vulnerable and like, you know, raw dog with your gratitude and your emotions, honey, joy. The cards say joy. What have I been saying this whole time? You are going to experience more joy, more bliss. It's going to be like ecstasy, honey, by just embracing what you already have. You don't need anything else. And when you're not in the space of wanting all the time, it's easier for you to discover what you actually need. And needs are part of the, detox just fell out. Detox from wanting, detox from what is not good for you and your soul, whatever. But anyway, when you are wanting all the time, where am I going? Oh yeah. So needs are part of the human experience. You're always going to need something. You need to sleep, you need to eat, you need to drink, you need to feel, you need to think, right? But wanting is a subgenre of needs that does not always have to be done. It can sometimes keep you from what you actually need. Isn't that a trickery thing? So time to get the fuck out of your head, get into your heart with gratitude. Yeah, ancestry. I knew there was going to be some kind of card that shows up to let you know this is what your angels, ancestors, and your guides are calling you towards, are bringing you towards, right? If you've been following along, you know that this is a journey that we're on collectively. The journey never ends. The journey is the destination. And this is your vehicle through this 8-8 portal in order for you to really tap into your personal power. It's wild. I love this. I love it because it's easy. When you think about it, you don't have to do all of these like big rituals and manifest anything and do the 333 where you write it 33 times and like you don't have to do that. All you have to do is just be present with what you already have and love it and have gratitude. And you might get even further than where you would be if you did the vision board, if you did the, visual meditations or whatever it is. You can still do all those things if you want to, if that brings you joy. But if it's bringing you into a place of wanting more all the time and always needing to consume and always needing things that aren't even relevant to what your soul feels called to, it's time to examine that and maybe ask for help. Okay? So that is my Lionsgate reading for you. I hope that you have an empowered, ecstatic, enjoyable day. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. What an amazing shift we're experiencing, collective. I can't wait to see what you do from here. So I'm sending you lots of love in, and I'll talk to you soon.